Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Prowl with Cosmic Patrol Spark Armor from Transformers Cyberverse Power of the Spark. Now as you're probably familiar, Cyberverse line has been around for a little bit now, but they've kind of rebranded the line Power of the Spark and introduced a new gimmick where they all have these cool little armors, which I think is a really neat gimmick. I kind of like it. The figures themselves are a little bit smaller because they include the armor. But there's different size classes for these. This one is actually called Battle Class, as you can see, which I don't think we had a class called Battle Class previously. This was $14.99. I found it at a local Target. So yeah, it's kind of a new price point for Cyberverse because we used to have, I guess, were the Warrior class figures 15 or were they 20? I honestly can't remember. They used to have the Warrior class, they used to have the Ultra class, the Ultimate class. So Battle Class is a little bit new. But as you can see, we get Prowl, we get this Cosmic Patrol Spark Armor. If we turn it around to the back, you can see there's Prowl in Robot Mode, Prowl in Vehicle Mode, and then with the armor attached. And then the armor kind of has its own little vehicle mode, which is kind of neat. If you see down here, there are a few others in this size class. Let's zoom in here. Very excited for Jetfire. I think he looks really cool, and I love that they're bringing Skybite back. He hasn't been around for quite some time. So, I mean, there have been figures of him, but, like, in a cartoon, he hasn't been around. And then there's a Starscream as well. So, very, very cool. I'm kind of really excited for this. I think the gimmick looks really neat. And I'm honestly really excited because Cyberverse, while I've taken a look at a few of the figures, I really passed on the majority of the figures released. Just because they weren't really sparking, haha, see what I did there, my interest, and I just think this gimmick looks really neat, so I'm psyched. Let's get this guy out of the packaging, and let's take a closer look. Here we have Prowl and the Cosmic Patrol Spark Armor out of the packaging. Gonna put him just kind of off to the side for a moment. We'll take a look at the Prowl figure first, and I'm gonna apologize, this guy is so stark white that I'm sure my lighting's probably going to go a little bit crazy. But I actually really like him. He's a cool little Prowl figure. He looks good. Doesn't really have a ton of kibble or anything hanging off him, which I appreciate. The transformation is simple, but I think it works. I think he looks good. You can take a look at the face sculpt. Let me angle the camera up here a little bit. Nicely painted silver face, blue eyes, have the red crest there on his head. Autobot symbol on the chest looks good. I actually like him quite a bit. I would say he's probably a little bit taller than like a Generations Legends class figure. I don't have one handy, unfortunately, but yeah, I would say he's just maybe a slight bit taller. Articulation-wise, head cannot move. You have this kind of joint here in the shoulder where the black piece actually connects up here to the shoulder, and then you have a ball joint kind of in the second part of the shoulder here. You have almost 90 degrees in the elbow, nothing in the wrist, nothing in the waist. The hips are on a normal ball joint, so you can go kind of to the back. That little piece of plastic there on his belt kind of prohibits him from going too far, but you can go a little bit out to the side, mostly front. And then he does have knees. It's really just because of the transformation, but you can still give him knees if you wish. They kind of snap in place when you put them all the way forward. You can kind of hear them snap into place. But yeah, I like him. He's a cool little Prowl figure, and I have to say he's quite cool. I'm going to show you the Warrior class Prowl for a little bit of a comparison. You can see he is quite a bit smaller, but I think that makes sense. Oh, let me straighten that out there. There we go. So this is the Warrior class Prowl, and then this is the new Battle class. Whoops, and I'm knocking him over. This guy had the gimmick where these kind of went down there like that, and then they flipped out. There you go. He obviously doesn't have a gimmick. The armor connecting is the gimmick. But I gotta be honest, I kind of think I like this guy better aesthetically. I mean, obviously there's a size difference, but I like the paint on this guy a little bit more G1-esque. This guy has all the kind of, you know, police fanfare and everything for the paint scheme, but yeah, I really, really like this tiny little figure. He's really quite cool. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this spark armor here. So just move him off to the side a smidge. Yeah, it's very simple, but I like it. I think it's a cool little kind of spacecraft. Have kind of a cannon here in the front, have some cannons here on the side. Very simple. Doesn't transform or anything, it's just a bunch of armor bits combined together. But it's really quite cool. I like it quite a bit. Basically, it just comes apart. You take this off. You take this off. You kind of unpeg from the bottom this piece here. And then you lift this off and take this piece off as well. You can see that there's two pegs here that peg into those holes. And then this giant peg pegs in there. So those are the four pieces that it comes apart. You come to the figure. You take this section, you come around to the bottom. This will flip out like that, and you can see two very large pegs. They're going to peg into the two peg holes on the shoulders. So peg that in. Let me pop out here a little bit. Then this will kind of just rock back for a second. This will come down. And you can see here there's a tab on the front, and that's going to peg into this big tab hole in the chest. And there we go. And then you just kind of bring this whole section down, and it just kind of hangs on the back like that. And it's kind of nice. He's got some connection ports here. And you can see he's got these two guns. They can go all the way down. You can kind of put them up at an angle if you prefer. You take these other pieces, they peg into the forearms, and there you go. He is all armored up. I really like the armor. First of all, I love the color scheme. I think the blue and the yellow looks great and works well with the white. You can see that pretty much all of the normal head is covered by the giant helmet, but I like the giant helmet. I like the star on the head. I like the star on the chest. And then, like I said, these guns can move, which is pretty cool. This piece here can be held as a weapon. You can just go ahead and peg that into his hand if you like. If you'd rather store it somewhere, you can come around to the back. You can peg it in here. And that actually looks kind of cool. If for some reason you wanted to peg it in here, you could certainly do that. If you wanted to take these off the forearms and peg them onto the back here for some reason, you could certainly do that as well. So you have a decent amount of options. For some reason, this keeps wanting to lift up. It's kind of annoying. It doesn't, the chest doesn't 100% snap in. It just kind of comes down and just rests. So sometimes when you're attaching the armor, it's going to come undone. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like that he has all the different spots to attach the armor. I think the armor looks really cool when it is attached. It's just a fun little play gimmick, and I really enjoy it. And I think it works. Oh, stop lifting up. But yeah, he looks really neat. I like him quite a bit. I've gone ahead and removed the armor so we can get into the transformation for this guy because he does have a base vehicle mode. Transformation, like I said, very simple. You're going to push the two legs together like that. Come down here, and you can kind of lift this section up and then push this down to fill in the hood of the car. This whole section, you're going to kind of unpeg those knees as I talked about. I don't want to say unpeg, they just kind of snap. So go ahead and push this all in like you would expect. Go ahead and close up the doors. And there we go, that's all in. So now what you're going to do is make sure that the arms are completely straight. Put them out to the side. And I believe we rotate these down like this. There we go. Then you just fold them in. And then there's little notches. You can see that there are tabs here and here. And there are little notches on the forearms. So you just bring these down. And like I said, you got to make sure that they're straight. And they'll just loosely tab in there. And there you go. There is your little patrol car. Like I said, it's a very simple little vehicle mode, but I like it. I think it's fun. Rolls fairly decently. Of course, it could always use more paint, but I say that about pretty much every Cyberverse release at this point, so it's hardly worth mentioning. But honestly, it's not bad. I really like the light bar. I like the Autobot symbol. The windows are painted. I would have loved it if these windows were painted. That's pretty much the only paint application I would really wish for. Just having these windows back here painted. But he does still have these peg holes, so if you wanted to take the armor pieces and kind of peg them on the back here to give them kind of like a flying car mode, you could certainly do that. So I think that's fun. I really like it. Let's see, can I, just having fun, can I attach this to the front still? Yeah, if you really wanted to. Let's see, can I peg this back on? Yeah, so if you wanted to do kind of a crazy armor car mode, you certainly could. Looks goofy, but you can do it. So yeah, very cool little vehicle mode. I like it. I like this guy quite a bit. I always thought the Spark Armor gimmick was intriguing when I first saw it announced, and having one finally in hand, I'm very pleased with it. The figure is kind of small, certainly not as tall as a Warrior class figure, but it's also cheaper. If I'm remembering correctly, the Warrior class figures were at least 15, possibly even 20, and these guys are about 15 as a set. I kind of wish they were like $12.99 because then it would kind of put them in that same kind of size class as those Bumblebee Power Plus series, and I just think that would kind of make sense because the packaging is roughly the same size. But all in all, I still think they're a lot of fun. I think the Prowl figure looks great in both robot and vehicle mode. I think it's a fun little figure with a decent amount of articulation. I think the little Cosmic Patrol Spark Armor is a really neat little vehicle. I love the design of the vehicle. Color scheme's good. I think it works well as both a little vehicle and armor. And I think it's kind of neat that you can also kind of attach the armor in the vehicle mode as well. So it doesn't show you that in the directions. I just kind of did that. But it's possible, and you can have some fun with it. So I think that's kind of neat. Yeah, I recommend these. Like I said, I wish they were a smidge cheaper, but I'm not going to split hairs. I definitely recommend picking this guy up. Quite a bit of fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.